Hi everyone. Today on Global Gist with BJ, we're going to be talking about a very hard topic, very tough one indeed. And I'm going to be asking that question, or let's say collectively, we are going to be asking that questions. Why are so many black innocent people locked up in US prisons? I've seen so many people say so many things about it, and I feel so bad. In fact, if you look at my face, I my face is really, really like I've been emotional about it all day. I kept thinking, what happened? Is it racism? Is it broken system? Or something deeper? What do you guys think? What could really be the problem? You hardly see a complete black family in the US without having somebody in the prison, either a father, either a mother, or children. What do you think it is? And I made my research and I found out that a lot of people in those prisons are actually quite innocent. But what do you think it is? So, from false conviction to bias policing, we're breaking it down today on the Global Gist with BJ. The truths they don't want you to know. We're about to spill it all out here. Grab your tea, your facts, because it's time to talk about justice or lack of it. Let's get into it.
Did you know that an estimated 5% of the US prison population is actually innocent? And with over 2.4 million Americans in prison, that means an estimated 120,000 are there as the result of a wrongful conviction. There are a number of causes of wrongful convictions: eyewitness misidentification, forced confessions, incentivized jailhouse testimony, police and prosecutorial misconduct, junk forensic science, and of course, the pervasive systemic racial bias we have in our criminal justice system. Or, as I like to call it, the criminal legal system, because justice. Let me give you some statistics. In terms of population, roughly 13% of the people in the United States are black, but over 40% of all prisoners are black. And before you start with that whole don't do the crime, don't do the time thing, let me emphasize that over 60% of all DNA exonerees are black. They didn't do the crime.
Look, this is not a game. You better start paying close attention and listening to what's going on. Everybody knows about the El Salvadorian guy, the man who got sent back to El Salvador into the prison, who fled El Salvador, running from gangs, started a life here, got an American wife and got American kids here, but he got picked up mistakenly. Got picked up here and sent back over there. And now they were saying that he was involved in gangs. Not coming up with no receipts, but they're saying it. So you can trust him if you want to. But now start paying attention. Now, here's some key words that I heard. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I know I heard it. When you saw the El Salvador president here meeting with the leader, the leader of this administration, did you hear what he said? I'm talking about this leader over here. He said, you need to start building more prisons because we want to start sending homegrown prisoners over there. You know, they're bad. They push over old ladies. They do armed robberies and all that. You remember he said that, right? Think about that. Now, I don't have a problem. Or I understand when you're out here doing crazy stuff, you're doing drive-bys, you're killing people, you're doing all that. Look, you suffer the consequences. So if you end up over there, you put yourself in that spot. But what you have to understand is this. There's going to be some people going to get caught up in this that will get trapped over into them prisons. You better believe it. And you better believe this skin tone. Oh, you get caught up, you going. Now, he going to be able to do what he want to do because he's doing it right now with no consequences behind it. Again, if you out here in these streets and you doing something crazy and you commit murders, you're doing all this old heinous stuff, hey, you do the crime, you're going to have to do the time, no matter where it's at. I agree with that. But there's going to be a lot of people caught up in the midst of this who's not going to have backgrounds. That's going to be sent over there, and do you think they're going to care about you getting back over here? Do you really think this administration is going to care about getting your innocent butt back to these states because you were mistakenly picked up and sent over there? So if you love your kids, parents, if you got little brothers, kids, nephews that's not necessarily caught up in gangs, but they rotating these streets, you better grab them. You better save their life. I'm telling you, because these people not playing, and they will definitely send your kid over there and you'll never see them again, and they won't give a damn about it. Now, this is for you people who gonna make some comments, some racial comments, who caught up in that MAGA stuff. I agree. If they commit the crime, they need to go. But see, I know you people don't care about nobody but yourselves. You don't care about innocent people who could get caught up. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not pushing for criminals to be in the streets here. No, because I know that's what you're thinking. But innocent people that can be sent over there, that's what I'm against. Save your kids, people. Don't let their lives be snatched away. Grab them before it's too late.
This is the moment a man was exonerated after spending 37 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. In 1987, 22-year-old Benjamin Spencer was convicted of murdering a man named Jeffrey Young. Prosecutors said he beat Young during a robbery, stole his car, and left him to die in a Dallas parking lot. But there was no physical evidence linking Spencer to the scene, just eyewitnesses, and even those statements didn't match. Spencer maintained his innocence from the beginning. Over the years, journalists, advocates, and even a retired judge began digging into the case. They discovered major problems: shaky witness testimony, missing evidence, and no motive. One witness even admitted she was pressured by police to lie. Despite multiple attempts to get a new trial, it wasn't until 2021 that things finally changed. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office conducted a full review and concluded there was no credible evidence tying Spencer to the murder. After 37 years in prison, Benjamin Spencer walked free. He was 56 years old. Do you think he should receive some sort of compensation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Every time I bring up slavery, somebody jumps out of the shadows like, did you know black people owned slaves too? Like, that's supposed to stop the conversation. Like, that's the gotcha. Okay, so let's talk about it. The first recorded black slave owner in the American colonies was a man named Anthony Johnson. He was taken from Angola in the early 1600s, survived indentured servitude in Virginia, gained his freedom, and eventually owned land, over 250 acres. That's wild considering the time, right? But here's where it gets twisted. In 1654, Johnson went to court to claim that another black man, John Casser, owed him a lifetime of labor. And the court sided with him. And just like that, chattel slavery was legally extended, not by a white man, but by a free black man. This is the part that people love to throw in your face without a shred of historical nuance. So yeah, Anthony Johnson was the first. And yes, over time, some other free black people, especially in places like New Orleans and Charleston, they owned and enslaved people too. Sometimes to protect family members from the system, sometimes to gain wealth and proximity to power. And no, hell no, I'm not excusing it. It was betrayal, it was cruel, it was wrong. But I'm also not going to sit here and let you pretend that that canceled out 400 years of white-led genocide. Because here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to erase the fact that 98% of enslaved people were owned, traded, insured, and brutalized by white people. You're not going to pretend that black people created the boats, the laws, the markets, and the damn system itself. Black participation was a stain, but white supremacy was the blueprint. And let me give you one more twist to that Anthony Johnson story. After he died, Virginia snatched that land back from his family. They claimed that black people couldn't be citizens. So miss me with that fantasy that owning people bought him safety. The very system that he tried to participate in turned around and ate him whole. So yeah, some black people tried to mimic the master. But that doesn't make them the architects. It makes them proof of how poisonous that system really was. They weren't trying to build freedom. They were trying not to drown. And in doing so, they passed the chains on. We don't hide the truth over here. But we damn sure won't let you weaponize it either.
So since the media isn't covering this for some weird reason, I'm going to cover it and spread the word. So there was a black man found hanging from a tree in New York. Everybody is super skeptical of the police because they were really quick to kind of brush this under the rug, say, oh, this wasn't a lynching. We did an investigation and we think that this was self-unaliving, which the family members don't believe. They're not buying that. They're extremely skeptical of the whole situation and especially how the police are handling it because they're trying to keep it on the hush-hush. Did you hear about this? No, I didn't either. It has not been in the media. No one's talking about it. Like, I don't even think like most people know that this even happened. And what's really sad about this whole thing is they said there were tons of videos posted online. So people were standing around taking videos of him hanging from the tree and just posted it online for everybody to see. They're not even releasing the name of this man. Does this not seem to you guys that they're literally trying to brush this under the rug so nobody talks about it? Like, they're not even giving his name. I can only give my opinion on this whole situation, and my opinion is, if you really have nothing to hide and there was no foul play in this situation, why aren't y'all telling us what this dude's name is? Why has nobody heard about this? Why is the media not covering it? Why were y'all so quick to dismiss it as a self-unaliving? Doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna keep spreading the word about it because we're not gonna let them just brush this off at all. Everyone needs to know what happened. So now that we all know about this, speak up about it, speak on it, tell people, don't let it just be brushed under the rug.
You know what's wild to me? The fact that Angola Prison is still open. It was a plantation. It's still a plantation. It was called Angola because that's where the people who were enslaved were from. Then after the Civil War, it became a convict leasing prison. All the black people who thought they were free, they got arrested for breathing, being, and believing in a better life. Funneled right into these prisons. They were literally plantations rebranded for prisoners rather than slaves. Now it is the largest maximum security prison in the United States. It's still a plantation with some buildings on it. You ever see a prison look like this? You can't tell me that's not an overseer looking over his slaves. But that's just Angola Prison. Look, this is what I want y'all to know. We know black people have been arrested and funneled into prisons at disproportionate rates. We know prisons as we know them now come right out of slavery. And we know Southern soil in particular is soaked with our blood. But what I don't understand is where the immediacy is at. The very present need to end slavery right now. Angola Prison kept Albert Woodfox, a New Orleans Black Panther. They kept him in solitary confinement for 40 years. Longer than any human being. No lights, no people, very little sound, no real bathroom. Solitary confinement takes away all your senses. Doesn't that drive you crazy? Not only is Angola Prison a plantation, it's where they test torture. And many of us sleep every night like this is normal. Look, I'm not offering nothing new today. I just want you to wake up and see what's right in front of you. Where's Harriet? Where's Frederick? Who are you?
She was sent to prison for 20 years for dating someone with a drug charge. After years of being locked up for something she didn't do, she filed for clemency. And then, Nara Jenkins was sentenced to 20 years in prison after being accused of drug-related offenses committed by her then-boyfriend. It was so outrageous, even the judge felt uncomfortable giving her the charge. But because of mandatory minimums for drug charges, the judge couldn't help her. While in prison, Jenkins took up several trades to keep herself busy. And 3 years later, with the help of her mom and some friends she made in prison, she figured out how to file a motion to get her sentence reduced. 6 days later, the same judge she'd met years ago announced her freedom. The Supreme Court had just ruled that sentences were no longer mandatory, but advisory. Judges had wiggle room to reduce sentences. Jenkins was able to maintain a solid support system while in prison, which was crucial in her effort to get free. She continued to challenge the system by launching her own programs to support formerly incarcerated women. Today, she provides resources to keep women from getting sucked back into the system. The criminal legal system is intent on isolating us and breaking us down. But like Jenkins, we can build our own community and frameworks to take care of each other. We all know schools aren't teaching Black history correctly. That's why Push Black is so important. Will you support truthful, accurate, empowering Black history content with a donation? With as little as $5 a month, you can help support Black-led media. Click the link in our bio to subscribe to a monthly donation now.
Are following breaking news. A Black man who was found guilty of attempted rape in 1977 has just been freed after a Louisiana judge ruled he did not get a fair trial. Vincent Simmons was serving a 100-year prison sentence for the attempted aggravated rape of twin 14-year-old girls. He was convicted by a jury of 11 white men and 1 Black woman. Simmons says he did not commit this crime. 2 weeks after the incident, they told police they were forcibly taken by a Black man to a country road and sexually assaulted. The sisters say Simmons gave them his name during the attack, but the women never gave that name to police. They also never gave a detailed description of their alleged attacker apart from his race. And they said, quote, all Blacks look alike. During Simmons' time in prison, he obtained information not presented at his trial, including a file of a medical examination conducted on the sisters, which revealed there was no evidence of sexual assault. Simmons has served 44 years of his sentence after trying nearly 16 times to get his conviction thrown out.
And Vincent served 44 years here at Louisiana State Penitentiary, but he was supposed to serve 100. That was the sentence. For the last 30 or so years, he kept trying to tell judges, I didn't get a fair trial, and here's the information, and they just dismissed him left and right. Get out of here, get out of here. But yesterday, there was a judge who said to him, I believe that you did not get a fair trial. In fact, that judge's daddy, nearly 30 years ago, dismissed Vincent's attempt. But this judge said, your rights were denied, they were violated, and you get a fair trial. And his accusers, Sharon and Karen Sanders, now 59 years old, decided to stand down.
He went in guilty. He's guilty now, and guess what? He will die guilty.
You ready?
So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I got 44 years.
All right.
That's good.
Where at sunset, Vincent Simmons walked out of the place he has been held in since he was 25 years old.
Hey, man. I want to...
I am Nigerian, living in Nigeria, and I feel like giving my fellow brothers and sisters who are of this color a big hug. You guys are strong, and one day, it will all make sense. Everything will make sense, but I want you to know that Africa is open for you. We love you guys. We love you guys, and any support at all, any support, just reach out to me. You need any form of therapy, I'm going to help you. I'm sending you all love, prayers, and hugs. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Do not forget to like. Do not forget to share. Right? And do not forget to turn on the notification buttons, because we're going to be talking about so many topics that deal with people of our colors. Even while we wait for the day everything will make sense and get better. See you on the other one. Bye.